What's up, everyone? It's Friday, May 21st, and you're tuned in to THHoopers, Courtney Lee's favorite basketball podcast. Pretty controversial player there for some reason. I'm here with Josh Rhodes.
Hey, guys.
And I'm here with George Martin.
You tried to take your retainers out to sound less stupid and still fluffed up in the intro.
Well, yeah, I'm Jacob Lehman. Yeah, I'm the one who sounds stupid in the intro. I know we joke. It's 4:30 for George. We do this.
It's actually 4:30
right now. It's 4:30 for George. It's 2:00 Pacific Standard Time. But we're here and we got a good pod for you guys. Recap the bulk of the play-in games, including Lakers taking the Warriors in a pretty fun one. Our All-NBA teams, including defensive and All-Rookie, as long as our three teams for All-NBA, the fun ones, and then preview of the first round of playoffs. So that should be fun. Remember, if you guys like what you hear, make sure to follow us at THHoopers, Instagram and Twitter. Drop a comment. We'll follow you back. We'll give you a shout-out. We'll do anything, because if you are listening to our podcast, we appreciate you, and that's why we're doing it here at 2 a.m. for you. But yeah, let's get right down to it. So Grizzlies beat the Spurs 196. I'll run through it. We'll probably get through these a little pretty quickly, because I believe we both had Grizzlies, or we all three had Grizzlies, and we all three had Lakers in this one. So Grizzlies went up big early. Spurs fought back to make it close for the entire second half. Very defensive-oriented. Grizzlies hold the Spurs to 35% shooting, had 11 blocks, 4 steals. My boy, Jonas Valanciunas, had a monster 23 and 23. I think this following up the Warriors game before this, he had 18 and 18. He's a beast. DeJounte Murray, triple-double. Rudy Gay led Spurs to the bench, 20 points, suspect shooting, but he was one keeping them in the game late. And then Murray and DeRozan combined to shoot 9 for 38, so that was not good. Josh, I know you watched this one in bulk because you're watching as you clean the house in preparation for me to come over and watch Lakers-Warriors. Just some quick thoughts on this one.
Quick thoughts. I thought the game was going to go the way the first half did. The Grizzlies just blowing them out. Spurs came back. Big pivotal moment of the game was Dillon Brooks. He shut down DeMar DeRozan and was their leader on offense, it looked like. But beside that, they won the game fair and square. Nothing crazy. I am a little worried about how Ja's going to handle more of the pressure, as they have a winner-go-home game against Warriors, and going into the playoffs if they do, because he looks like he's been struggling in like big time moments, and that's been a thing. And he's still a young player, so not too much heart, but I would like him to take more of an advantage, because it looked like Dillon Brooks was the man for them.
Yeah, as a guy who has Grizzlies, that's my first hot take of the playoffs. Grizzlies beat the Warriors for the 8th seed. And they were giving John Morant the Tony Allen treatment. He went 1 for 6 from 3. He did not look ready to come and play, and Dillon Brooks kind of saved them there. But their defense also saved them. That's the reason I had them against the Warriors, just because I think they went 1 and 2 against Warriors this year. But that last game, or for that battle for the 8th seed, I really think they should have beaten the Warriors there. Dillon Brooks doesn't follow out on some of those ticky-tack fouls. But yeah, George, I know you're kind of load managing until the important part of the podcast, but just some quick thoughts here.
I mean, it was just Dillon Brooks' experience. I mean, I think when they were getting down, when the Spurs were kind of getting close in the third, fourth quarter, he would just come down every time, just score right back. And I mean, it was crazy to watch. And then, yeah, just with the Spurs, I don't know. A lot of people on Twitter were talking about, where do they go from here? I mean, DeRozan's a free agent, Rudy Gay's a free agent, Patty Mills is a free agent, and they kind of kept them together this past deadline and really didn't do anything with them, just to be a 10 seed and losing their first game. So, I mean, they're kind of like in no man's land. I mean, they have all their picks, I presume. I don't think anyone else has them, but I mean, they're about to lose some big core guys, and they don't have like the depth to replace those guys if those guys leave for nothing. So people are kind of talking about them. They're in the purgatory zone. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. And, does Pop come back? I think he retires. I think he's probably going to just retire and give the keys to Becky Hammond. I think that's what's going to happen. But, it'll be interesting to see. But Grizzlies, yeah, it's going to be an energetic game upcoming for them.
Josh, to take us home here. Spurs season's over. Was this a successful season for them?
No, it wasn't. I mean, they're not really. I have my own harp on them. We'll get into it when we do the off-season thing. I don't think they're a team that's built to win, especially with the formula. Pop's a fantastic coach, and the fact that it's a successful season for Popovich, I should say. For the Spurs, no. I feel like they need to do some retooling And this season kind of proved it. 6 games under 500 isn't going to get you anywhere. And Pop just simply can't will this team anymore. They try so hard, but I just don't think that they're built to keep up with the big dogs of the West. So,
do you think Pop retires like George says?
I don't think he retires, but I definitely think that he might consider taking a smaller role with the team. I don't think he retires.
So kind of like promoting himself to an assistant and giving the keys to Becky Hammond, or
he's gonna do like he's not gonna do like a. I think he's gonna do like a Master Yoda thing where he kind of just slowly fades out of the organization, and the next thing you know, just one year you look at the coaching staff, he's just not there. I don't think he just.
That's what Tim Duncan did. That's how Tim Duncan retired.
Sorta, yeah, but
like next year, Becky Hammond's one standing up giving orders. Pop's on the head coach seat. Next year, he's shutting a seat down every single year until he's just a fan in the front office. So.
It's kind of like what LeBron. LeBron. There's a head coach, but LeBron's basically the head coach.
Yeah, I mean, you can't completely rebuild when you have Pop as your coach, just because there's too much respect as a front office for Coach Popovich to give.
You don't want to try
enough players.
Yeah.
But I don't see. Maybe DeRozan picks up his option because of the money. I don't know. We'll talk about it in the offseason. Getting on to a team whose season wasn't ended. Lakers beat the Warriors 103-100. So, like we said, Warriors have a do or die game against the Grizzlies on Friday. Today, Friday. All right, matchup. This is the best defense in the league. The Lakers versus the best defense in the league since April 1st. Lakers were playing from behind for the majority of the game, down by 13 at halftime. It's caught me by surprise too, George. Once they went to that veteran lineup when Wiseman went down, they put Looney into the starting lineup. Since April 1st, best defense in the league. That's why Draymond's top 3.
Draymond, Wiggins as well, JTA. I mean, those core guys have really held it down defensively.
With the game tied at 100, Braun hit a deep 3, put the Lakers up. Jordan Poole won the game. Missed. Yeah, he aimed for the middle rim. Corny at. Oh my gosh. Jordan Poole proceeded to miss a game-tying 3 with 35 seconds left. I believe the pass was from Curry. They blitzed him. Curry got.
They did all game to him.
Pretty good look for Poole. Missed it. And then Lakers come down, don't get a shot. Then Curry gets bottled up at the end of the game. And that's all she wrote. Lakers get the 7th seed.
Before George says something, or before George
takes my minute,
can I just say how funny it was that Space Jam 2 was trending on Twitter because everybody was excited to talk about LeBron's acting job. That's so funny, man.
CJ McCollum was having a subtweet session at LeBron.
CJ McCollum is upset.
I just want to say this was the first time I've seen Josh Rhodes beat George Martin to a meme. Josh was the first one to send the LeBron.
I beat him to the LeBron crying meme.
Yeah.
I saw that and instantly I was ready.
I was too busy.
It looked like LeBron when he gave him the baby face filter on Snapchat.
I was laughing. That was so funny.
Yeah, like he literally looked like he was about to cry. I was sitting there like.
Shout out Joey Vaca. He did his classic Joey Vaca laugh where it's the hearty ha 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 where it sounds fake, but yeah, that one. George. Warriors shoot better from the field and from 3. Lakers get 10 more free throws. Steph had 37. Wiggins played well. But besides Dre filling the stat sheet on defense, not a whole lot else from anyone else.
No.
Warriors have 20 turnovers, 15 of them in the second half.
So majority in the third quarter. That's where the game changed. So,
George, I know you're tired. I see you perk up when you hear LA Lakers. You're smiling. What did you take from this game?
So, I won't try and do like a big recap, but I have some talking points. So Lakers came out really flat. I mean, LeBron, AD, and Schroeder, I believe, going into halftime and combined for like 2 of 22. I mean, they were getting to a really dangerous point where if they didn't come out in the third rock solid, they were about to go down 20 and lose that game. Third quarter defense. I mean, it turned on. Especially one thing I noticed especially like when you blitz Curry, you have to make sure you know where Draymond is and where else that ball is going. They were getting passing lane steals too. Like they knew where Draymond was going to go. That's why they completely neutralized him on the offensive end. As great as he was guarding AD, it was really bad for Draymond because he wasn't putting any shots up and he was.
Is that a coaching thing? Watching the right film, or is that just instinct?
That is film 100%. They were rotating. They were cutting off passing lanes, and LeBron's like a free safety out there when he's not guarding the main ball handler. But I don't want to get too animated here. Just Lakers put themselves down in this one early. They really kind of shot themselves in the foot rotations wise. I don't want to hate on Drummond too much here because I'm going to get a 5-paragraph essay from Josh Nowakowski in the morning. But I just felt like his leash was way too long. He needs to have a shorter leash, especially in lineups where they're really small. I didn't like that. AD at the 5 right when he came in. I mean, he was 9 of 12 in the fourth quarter or second half when he was the primary center, and just everything flows a lot better offensively. It gets LeBron better lanes, Schroeder better lanes. So hopefully, I'm more confident in Vogel adjusting throughout a series, just because like they'll be able to watch the film and point out what's wrong. So gutsy win. I think the Warriors are definitely going to respond after this. I mean, do or die game at Oracle, Steph and Draymond. I expect them to win. I don't know what you think, Lehman, but yeah, that's what I have to take away from this game.
Well, yeah, when Jeff Van Gundy is making the correct decision, saying Andre Jones shouldn't be out there, put 80 at the 5, something's wrong. But yeah, just before I get to Josh Rhodes, because his face is making me giggle like a little schoolgirl, I would Josh Nowakowski to tell the world George gave up on this team at halftime. There are receipts. There are receipts.
George.
I'd like to explain myself after this.
I am more confident in Frank Vogel to make the proper rotations. Frank Vogel isn't serious. We deserve to lose. Frank Vogel should be fired. Frank Vogel has the IQ of a bleeping hippo.
Hey.
Ladies and gentlemen, George Martin in the middle of the game. Josh Nowakowski will simply not let him rest on Twitter.
A few things, anyone new listening, a few things to know about me. Chronic overreactor, and I always do this during Laker games because I think I have a reverse jinx that's worked pretty good because I did the same thing against the Knicks and they won. They came back from a deficit. So
game one.
Me and Mr. Rose over here were sitting there sipping tea and crumpets, not reacting at whatsoever because we are confident in our LA Lakers. I just had my phone buzz. George Martin.
I put it on Do Not Disturb because I was afraid of two things: George overreacting and Josh Nowakowski telling me the play before I see the play because
Josh Rhodes cannot afford cable TV.
Yes, sir, I cannot.
Anything from this podcast, he cannot afford cable
annoying
TV.
Overreaction tweets or spoiling the game. I think you'd rather take
you
the
do
annoying
both,
text.
Man.
I didn't spoil the game.
So George, to get us back on track here and to take us home, you've been on the Steph needs more help train. I've been on the Steph. I hopped off the Steph needs to do more train because it started averaging 50 in a month. But is this lost on the others or is this one on Steph?
I mean, Steph was phenomenal. He was getting the kitchen sink, literally. That's what Frank Vogel said they would do, or Steve Kerr. He had 37 on very efficient shooting numbers. I mean, you have to look at guys like Draymond, 2 points. I don't even think he had a field goal attempt. I mean, yeah, actually he did. He tried to dunk on LeBron. He tried to dunk it. Yeah, so he's got to be more aggressive and better there. I really didn't look at the stat sheet much because I kind of watched the game and really didn't need to look at it. Just say more aggressiveness there from him. And just honestly, like, even offensively, as if they didn't turn over the ball as much as they did in that third quarter, they win. I mean, that's the only reason the Lakers came back out and got the lead down.
Yeah. One thing I noticed last year in the playoffs, Lakers were the biggest team in the league, height-wise, wingspan-wise, other ways. Pause. But it doesn't. They're still one of the biggest teams in the league this year, but they're not imposing their will. They play finesse, even though they have some of the tallest players out there. And I mean, yeah, we had Dwight last year, we had JaVale, and they would get in your head. They would, they're throwing elbows. Andre doesn't do that. So it's just kind of wasted space out there. And like you said, AD 9 for 14 at the 5 spot.
Because, well, also last year's defense, really quickly, what they would do is they would run guys off the 3-point line and then funnel them into guys like, Dwight, JaVale, the true like big rim protectors. And I don't think they're as confident with Andre Drummond there. So I think that's why it's a different type of like finesse defense where you have the perimeter defenders locking guys up.
Mr. Vogel likes to make us Laker fans sweat a little bit. He doesn't play the important guys like Wes Matthews.
They had to have.
Fourth quarter.
They definitely had money on the first half spread, like 100%.
Josh, anything to add here?
Not at all.
Well, then I'm going to come to you first. I know not too many people out there watch Wizards Pacers, but that's what I'm for. Because as a Russ guy, I got home from work and I watched the Wizards beat up on the Indiana Pacers. So here's the rundown. Wizards blew the game wide open by winning the second and third quarters by 30 total. Pacers were dead in the water. Russ had a very calm game. It seemed like he really let the game come to him a lot more than the game against the Celtics. 15 assists, 18 points. Wizards got great contributions everywhere, especially Daniel Gafford, who got them 13 boards. Leads me to my next point. I was really hoping that the Wizards would take advantage of their size against the Celtics because they have like 6 centers. They didn't do that. They did that this game, won the rebound battle by 12. Sabonis triple-double, got into foul trouble early, though. No one else in the starting lineup shot over 50% for Indiana. So not a whole lot. It was just a fun game to watch. We see Beal and Russ get in the playoffs. They're hyping up that crowd. I don't expect you guys to have too much from this game just because blowout and Indiana Pacers for Washington Wizards. But Josh, anything here?
48 third quarter points is rather impressive. The two big stories for the Washington Wizards were the reason why they were able to blow it open. Russ didn't have to rely on hero ball. His teammates were actually putting the shots in. So, I mean, that's a good thing. 15 assists, rather impressive. And Hachimura didn't get into foul trouble. He got into foul trouble early because he was guarding Tatum against Celtics. Here, he didn't really have that problem. Big contributor. Very underrated defensively, as Georgia's computer seems to agree with my point there. And on the other side of the ball, another big one is Daniel Gafford, that he was able to kind of limit Sabonis's his ability in the paint to kind of control the game. He kind of took that away, out-rebounded him. So, good win for the Wizards. They deserved it. And, I mean, that was my big concern, the rebounding, and they managed to win it, and that's the reason they were just so far ahead of the game.
Word up. George, was this a...
Huh?
Ooh.
Oh.
So
Lehman's gone, but I'll talk.
Can you not hear me?
We can hear you now.
Now we can.
I can talk
okay.
a little bit about this. I don't have much to add about this game, but
I know it was a successful season for the Indiana Pacers. They're now in the draft lottery.
So. Well, actually, I mean, for what they were given, I think they had higher expectations, but they were really riddled with injuries. But, if they return most of their guys and, they're going to have a decent pick, Levert, Brogdon, Turner, Sabonis, with TJ Warren coming back and adding a lotto pick, they're pretty good to make an East run in the playoffs. But getting to this game, I don't have much to add. I'm just really hyped for this first round matchup. It's going to be a quick series, but Russ and Embiid have some history there, so it's going to be energetic. Russ loves to bring the firepower. Embiid, he likes to taunt when they go up.
Yeah, that's
Embiid's
right.
Embiid's kind of a front runner. I've noticed. Taunts when they're up, but when he's getting
George,
buzzer beaters put on his head, he's out there crying.
There's only one guy that trash talks when he's losing, and that's Russell Westbrook.
But that's all I have to add about this one.
And that's called heart, Josh. That's called heart.
It's going to be a lot of talk from Washington.
Consistency. He always talks. He always brings it.
So, a very in-depth, great breakdown, as always, from the 2.5hoopers here. This will be where the halftime is, but we just have too good of a show for you guys. So we don't – and there's not a whole lot of news that's not involved in the game. So we're probably going to skip the halftime.
No news is good news?
No news is good news. I mean, to be
Fine
for you,
me.
because your work ethic is kind of lacking. So you finish school. You deserve a break. And then we made you stay up until 4:30 a.m.
By the way, George. Proud of you.
Yeah, congratulations to George.
Thank you.
Jake,
if you're listening, I want a graduation post. And Josh.
Josh Rhodes finished Moorpark College. He's going to now a better community college. We're very proud of him.
Not yet.
Wait,
Did not
Lehman,
finish yet. I have 3 summer courses.
Why haven't you finished?
I technically did. I have my credits, but I'm there for another year because,
Heck yeah.
FAFSA. But, yeah. Enough about us. Time for the All-NBA team. So, George, where do you want to start us here? You want to go
I'm going to
rookie?
start out with rookie. It's not the most controversial one, but there's some importance there. We got to talk about those guys. Should I start with first team?
Yes.
I don't know if you want to do second team first, but so a little bit of I don't know. I can't think of the word, but so I didn't do positions. I just did,
a little bit of a tidbit. Interesting tidbit. There's no positions for all rookie.
Fun fact, yeah.
Yeah, so no
There's
positions.
5 best rookies.
I think we're all gonna have the same list here. I have LaMelo, Tyrese Halliburton, Anthony Edwards, Emmanuel Quickley, and Jayshawn Tate.
Yes, sir.
No.
Oh, okay,
Ooh.
let's hear it, Josh.
So I have Sadiq Bey over Jayshawn Tate.
I like that. Sadiq Bey's been pretty solid this year.
Okay.
He's
For the
at a very
Pistons.
underrated. And I feel like with
Yes.
the rookies, you don't really have to worry too much about wins. Obviously, neither of the teams are good, but I just think Sadiq Bey has more of an important role with the Pistons because Jayshawn Tate's kind of more of like a role player sort of. So
Okay.
that's kind of
The one thing that
differ.
put Tate over for me, and maybe George has a different opinion, why Tate's over Bay. Tate was performing even when they were winning games. Like I believe he was starting even when they had Wood there and they're a 500 team. And we always
We were talking about him being PJ Tucker.
They always find these 3-and-D wings, and so
he kind of I don't know if one of you guys made the comparison. He reminds me of Bruce Brown a little bit. I don't know if anyone made that comparison, but that's what I thought of him. No,
fair enough. I think he was more PJ Tucker because they were having him play the 5.
George, give us your second
team. Okay, so this one's a little bit more interesting. So Campazzo qualifies as a rookie.
He's
on my second team.
He was almost on my first team.
Campazzo, and then Sadiq Bey, who Josh had on first team. Desmond Bain, who plays for the Grizzlies. Isaiah Stewart, Pistons center, and then Xavier Tillman. I do have 2 Grizzlies. They kind of knocked it out of the park with those rookies this year.
Somebody's gonna be a little angry.
We'll go with Lehman first, since Josh wants to save the drama for the end.
I guess I just get to become more and more of an honorary Greek because I got Pat Williams. I got Pat Williams' second team. Shout out to Costa and NBA Mary.
Dang it, he's gonna flame me for not having Pito on there.
I know he's gonna be mad.
Campazzo, Pat Williams, Sadiq Bey, and then Isaiah Stewart were like the locked in, and then I put Bain on there just because. So no Tillman for me.
Interesting.
Alrighty, so I have Deshante instead of because I flipped
Sadiq Bey was first,
yeah. Desmond Bain. I have Pat Williams also. I have Isaiah Stewart, and my last was Isaac Okoro, who has had a very
Okoro over Campazzo.
Yes, and I think it's just because he's played more. More minutes.
Yeah, he plays 42 minutes a night. That's why he's played more.
Yeah, I know, but he's been playing like the whole year. And while Campazzo does qualify, I don't know if he has the minutes to really have a consideration. But he has been playing well, and I wouldn't be upset. I just kind of like Okoro a bit better just because he's kind of certified himself as like a set glue guy for the Cavs. He's going to be very good in my opinion.
Were you on the Okoro trail when they drafted him, or was that George?
I was.
You're a big Okoro.
I was a little bit too. I said that because I felt like they had.
No. It was Josh, but I didn't know Campazzo qualified, and then I found he qualified. I'm like, okay, and then I saw the Denver Nuggets Twitter. They have 18 posts dedicated Campazzo All NBA All Rookie team. I'm like, I'll put him on my ballot. He's a 31-year-old rookie. Who doesn't love him? He's what Marcelo Huertas was supposed to be.
He's Pablo Prigioni of the 2020s.
I love Campazzo. All right, so those were all rookie teams. Pretty solid. We had Tillman and Okoro were the only ones. We only named 12 players, so it seems like all rookie is pretty cut and dry. First team especially. All right, we'll go defense then. We'll save the best for last then. So Josh, start us off for defense.
Ladies and gentlemen, the all-NBA defensive first team is Ben Simmons, Drew Holiday, Draymond Green, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Rudy Gobert, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, that's
too. Yep.
Okay,
yeah.
I do want to say that the biggest difficulty I had was putting Jimmy Butler over Giannis, and that was just because of voter fatigue. But Giannis has insane stats, and it's not even just the regular stats like steals and blocks. If you look at the advanced stats and the metrics, with a lot of people like to look at, it's impossible for you not to put him in the first team.
When he's playing alongside Brook Lopez and their defense is still as good as it is, he deserves first team because he should not be playing alongside Brook. He should be at the 5.
My second team is probably where a lot of people kind of stray off. So I have Marcus Smart, Mikal Bridges, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, and Joel Embiid. And Matisse Thybulle would have been on my second team, but I just don't think he has the minutes. Again, he only plays under 20, and while he's a insane defender, record-wise insane, I think Marcus Smart has more minutes, and therefore it probably will go to him because of that.
I got Thybulle on over. Well, I'll name my whole squad because we have a few disagreements. So Jimmy and Bam we agree on, and then I got Dylan Brooks just because Josh Nowakowski. I got to shout him out. And then me and George watching a lot of Grizzlies games these past 10 games. Me and George keep a close eye on them because JJJ and John Morant, but he's
JJ Butter.
Yeah, Dylan Brooks is the guy that you stick him on that player and he's just annoying.
He's the best. He guards the best player every time.
Yeah,
it's
and I'm watching him like I don't want him.
He froze again.
Oh my goodness! I froze again?
You're here.
Yeah, you're fine now.
Okay. Well, yeah. Bottom line, Dillon Brooks, good defender. He's on my second team.
Fair enough.
Oh, no.
We're breaking up. Go ahead.
Okay.
So
Thibault over Marcus Smart.
Okay.
Time missed with Marcus Smart. Small minutes from Thibault. Cancels out. Thibault's better defender. More steals than field goals.
I know. It's insane, man.
And then
I named the stat earlier. Yeah.
I have Miles Turner on there because he's the blocks leader.
Wait a minute.
What?
You named 6 players.
Brooks, Jimmy Butler, Matisse Thybulle, Bam, and then Turner.
He doesn't have. He has Thybulle over Marcus Smart. George.
Silly goose.
No Embiid.
No Embiid.
Wow. Okay.
That. While I agree,
sorry, I thought you named Embiid. That's why I said. That's why I thought you had 6.
Because like they both have missed good amounts of games, but Joel Embiid was like.
I'm not opposed to you holding him out because of that.
Like DPOY leader for a good amount of time. So I feel like it's kind of hard to leave him off.
It's between Turner and Embiid, and then I saw a stat where it was like Rudy Gobert awarded the block leader of the season. And I was like, but he only averaged 2.5, and Turner.
I don't think Turner qualified because he missed time.
He didn't qualify, but then they're like, wait, if he played as many games as Rudy and got 0 blocks every single game, he'd still have more. So. So they then awarded
Mickey Mouse defensive player.
So Miles Turner's your 2021 block leader. That makes me think, why not just do totals? But Adam Silver is a Mickey Mouse GM.
Also, so you have Dillon Brooks over. I put Mikal Bridges. Okay.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
George, respectable.
So I had 4 that were like for sure left. That last guard spot was tricky. I was thinking like Mikal Bridges or Marcus Smart. I did end up going with Dillon Brooks there. Lehman and I kind of just been down the stretch. We've loved watching him play. He's a pass. He's that that Pat Bev type guy where you hate playing against him, but you'd love having him on your team. So to fill out the rest of my list, obviously Brooks is first. Jimmy, Bam, Embiid. Kind of those guys are kind of no brainers. And then my last spot.
Oh, you're giggling.
Alex Caruso. To finish out the second team. I'm
so glad George was sounding so intelligent up until that point.
Did you see have you seen his defense on some guys?
Okay, if you're gonna put a
Steph in a blunder,
it has to be Thybulle. It has to be Thybulle if you're gonna put a bench player.
No, it doesn't.
George,
it's a rule. They implemented this year. If you're just gonna be bench player, it has to be Thybulle.
Alex Caruso has the second highest individual defensive plus minus this year.
When Thybulle gets to play 35 minutes against Russell Westbrook, you're going to watch it, and you're going to watch how horrible Russell Westbrook
the defensive rating with, like, if you plug Caruso into any, like, 2-3-man lineup, it's incredibly high. Oh, Lehman froze again.
Recency on Brooks. Homer
string together a sentence first before you talk to me.
George, I want to just tell you that there are 104 players in NBA history that have recorded over 100 steals and 70 blocks in a season, 104. Only one of them has done it in under 20 minutes per game, Matisse Thybulle. He literally, in less than 20 minutes per game, in a shortened season, might I add you, over 100 steals and 70 blocks.
I mean, Caruso's third in defensive rating this year, so I thought.
The nerds are out to play now. Okay, that's good. Watch Thybulle guard your favorite player, and then tell me he's not on the
Guardian.
Did you see how?
Simply Caruso was defending when he brought up the advanced metrics.
Can we move on to the fun stuff now?
It's a little.
I'm tired of talking about defense. I don't want to talk about defense.
The Lakers have the best defensive rating this year. LeBron went down. AD went down. Caruso was a big part of keeping that rating at first. That's all I'm saying.
Wouldn't you want to throw Schroeder in there instead?
KCP. Frank Vogel,
like you might have arguably not even picked the best Laker defender.
Well, obviously AD's the best Laker defender, but anyways,
Mickey Mouse defender. Hey Disney, all right, all NBA teams. So we did 2 teams together too. Now it gets to the fun stuff. No one likes defense. We like star power.
Defense wins championships.
So George, you're gonna start us off first team, and then Josh is gonna start us off second team, and then we're gonna go back to you for third team.
Okay, so
start for third team.
Then I'll do third team, sure.
Because he's a front runner, he wants to change his list when we name him. But
my lists are set in stone right here.
A little bit of a forewarning. I had 1 center per lineup. I think Josh has 2 in his first team.
Josh is a Mickey Mouse voter.
You can have that. You can have that. So props to Josh for wanting. Yeah, hey, the voters
It's frowned
can do it.
upon.
So,
okay, I'll do my explanation later.
my first two guards, without question, I have Steph there. He's top 3 MVP guy, incredible numbers. He's basically having a 2016 type season. I have Luka second. He's really improved the second half of the season, got them up to 5th. His numbers have been incredible. One of the best offensive engines in the league today. Then I have Giannis. I put Jimmy at first team. I think that might be a little bit controversial, but what he did to get Miami out of like the 13th seed and up to the playoffs, I think that was pretty well. And then, also without question, Jokic, who's going to run away with the MVP.
Josh, you want to go or me?
I can go. So mine is Kyrie, Harden, LeBron, Giannis, Jokic. No, I'm kidding, George. So I agree with you on 4 of them: Steph, Luka, Giannis, and Jokic. I agree with. And the Jimmy Butler thing, not a hot take. He would be my first team. However, after seeing the top 3 of the MVP and Embiid being a top 3 MVP, it's kind of hard for me to not see a scenario where they don't put all 3 of the top MVP guys in first team, and he does qualify technically for a forward spot. So I do have Joel Embiid there. Not a knock at all. I honestly think that he deserves it over Jimmy Butler. Just because the missed games is kind of the only big thing, but insane amount of points for a center. It just crazy. I honestly it blew my mind. This is probably Joel Embiid's best regular season ever.
Sure.
I hope it translates into the playoffs. And if he didn't miss those games, if they keep winning the way they did,
he wins MVP.
That race is very close. I don't know.
I think he probably wins it.
Sure. I don't know if he for sure wins it, but it's very close. So
I mean, if they would have secured the best record in the league, and if he stayed at like how he was playing before, I think he wins it. But anyways, Lehman, let's hear from you.
So if I didn't have if I wasn't messed up in the head, yeah, Josh named the best lineup. The top 3 MVP candidates should be in All NBA, but I'm stuck in my ways. I don't want to put Embiid at power forward because I said on a previous pod we covered this. Whoever I put at power forward, if it's a center,
Mickey Mouse.
It's a Mickey Mouse first team. I'm sorry, and I don't want to disrespect Embiid like that. So yeah, we always get the core 4: Steph, Luka, Giannis, Jokic, and I guess we're going to disagree here. I have Tatum, and that's because I made a rule for myself. Everyone on my first team has to play at least 60 games, because you have to draw the line somewhere.
Read your list again.
Steph, Luka, Giannis, Tatum, Jokic.
Wow.
Hey, that's
really high.
That's very high.
I don't think so.
And you also have to consider the amount of games that everybody's missed. You would think that they would lower it even more. I know that's a set rule.
It's a little bit interesting that he left someone else off at that forward position, but I guess we'll get into that later.
You don't think Kawhi Leonard over Jason Tatum?
I would, but Kawhi played
games.
52 games, and Tatum played 64.
No, Paul George
games.
So I have a guy who missed
Tatum,
1 game.
Tatum got COVID and still played 12 more games than Kawhi Leonard. And Kawhi Leonard.
I mean, props to Tatum. Yeah, he's on one of my teams, but I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Surprised Randall didn't get that over Tatum. Randall played 71 games.
So I had Randall there, and I was like, I have my top 5 MVP candidates, but I made it abundantly clear that he was my 5th MVP candidate because of New York. And the extracurriculars that go into MVP voting don't go into the extracurriculars of all NBA teams.
I know. So yeah, I get it.
I picked Tatum. He really picked it up when Brown went out. It's been a chaotic season for the Celtics.
He's been
I got Tatum.
A superstar.
I would not hate it. I absolutely love that. I think Tatum is one of just those players that doesn't get recognized especially because Jaylen Brown. We were having that talk. Jaylen Brown's the better player this season. And at that point he was statistically, but come on. Jason Tatum's on a completely different level.
He has an inhaler on the sideline like JaVale McGee, and he's dropping 50.
He was dueling with Steph Curry.
Also Tatum, only one of 3 players this year with a 60 bomb. Curry and Beal the other ones.
And he beat Steph when he was dueling against him. So
I know it's a hot take. I respect the Jimmy pick. He would probably be there. Jimmy played more games than Kawhi, which is insane to think about.
And Jimmy lost 15 pounds due to COVID early on in the year. So
second team time. Josh, take us there.
So second team, we have for the guards, Dame and CP3. CP3 phenomenal year. Dame, he's just the worst of the 3 guards that we've been talking about. Steph, Luka, and him. I have Kawhi Leonard. Jimmy Butler for my 2. It was kind of difficult. I was kind of torn, and I think Paul George qualifies as a 2, correct?
He's a good
2-3,
forward,
yeah.
Yeah, okay. And then, unfortunately, because I have 2 centers in the starting lineup, I have Rudy Gobert as All-NBA second team.
Yeah, that makes
Which
sense,
sucks
though.
because I was trying really hard to make a case for Bam Adebayo, but it's just kind of difficult. Rudy Gobert just has crazy defensive stats, and I don't know. It pisses me off more than anything in the world. I'd put Ben Simmons over Rudy Gobert, but Gobert is All-NBA second team for me.
So I'll go second then. George, I really need yours. I need your
right now. I don't want you to see it. You'll get it after the podcast. How am I supposed to keep
track of who you have and who you don't?
You'll get it after the podcast.
Oh my good. Okay. My second team, Dame, CP3. I feel like those are kind of locks. I feel like the 4 guards are locks in my opinion. Maybe George will prove me wrong. Then Kawhi, then Randall, then Embiid.
Okay, so Lehman, you and I have 4 of the 5 same. Dame, Kawhi, Randall, Embiid. I do not have the same second guard as you. I have Kyrie over CP3. And I know the missed games might be a factor there, but 50, 40, 90, he has been probably, I think it's like 3rd or 4th most efficient, 50, 40, 90. I mean, he's been incredible. I know the missed games kind of hurts him, but when he's been on the floor, I mean, he's been damn good. And just the 50, 40, 90 and how efficient he's been all year, I kind of have to keep it there.
Well, spoiler, yeah, Kyrie is the only net I have on my All-NBA team. So I appreciate the Kyrie love, but talking Kyrie for MVP.
What?
Were we ever talking Kyrie for MVP this season? Like at all? Because there was a month where people were like, CP3 is your MVP, and then Jokic lost Murray and started winning more games. And for your favorite, but CP3 is the most people's top 5 ballot.
But why does that matter for All NBA? I honestly feel like CP3 is kind of narrative driven a little bit, though. No?
Okay. Well, okay.
George, this isn't a Mickey Mouse 2013 where Marc Gasol wins Defensive Player of the Year and then doesn't make any of the defensive team.
I mean, I don't want to get into a full debate about this because, I mean, whatever.
Well, speak your truth.
So why? Because he's in MVP combos, that means he automatically.
That's not the only reason I'm saying. I'm just saying he's had a better season than Kyrie, and that's shown because they're
16-9 is better. 16-9 is better than a 50, 40, 90 for Kyrie.
He's also next to James Harden and Kevin Durant. It's a little easy to be efficient when you're next to KD and Harden.
KD missed 2 months.
And Kyrie's
but the
taking
Suns had a better
vacations.
record also. Like CP3's not, he's having a Steve Nash-esque year, and I know you hate that because Steve Nash deserved both MVPs over Shaq and Kobe.
Obviously,
but this is how it goes. You can't I think honestly, Kyrie Irving 50, 40, 90 is very impressive, but it's also kind of I hate saying it how we always use it, but it's kind of Mickey Mouse because he did miss a lot of games. Chris Paul has been very consistent for the Suns. He's very sturdy. I know he gives up a lot, but his stats are there enough, and the record is there. And we were talking about the MVP conversation, and you can't completely just ignore that. For a good amount of time, it was him and Jokic. We were really we were talking about it.
Anyways, I'm not going to argue this because I literally have him on my 3rd team. So the difference was Kyrie's 50, 40, 90 for me and just how efficient he had been this year. I get it because he's been MVP. He's been, I call him the 2nd best floor raiser in the league. So I get it. I just wanted to have Kyrie there because I thought his numbers have been very impressive. But if you want to call it Mickey Mouse, sure.
Okay, word. I'll give you a break just because, it's almost 5 a.m. and the sun is rising up in Appleton, Wisconsin. So my turn for All-NBA 3rd team. George, hopefully after you say your team, you can put in the chat so I can actually keep track of who's on your squad.
The screenshot has been taken.
There are 3 of us, but I'll go first. So like I said, Kyrie, and then I'll let you – I'm not going to debate, but there needs to be a wizard on there. It's Russ or Beal. I have Russ just because I'm a Russ guy. He averaged triple-double. I find it more impressive than most do. I don't get voter fatigue, but that's just me. I'm also a Russ guy. And then LeBron – just because he was in the MVP race, only 45 games, but he's LeBron. He's going to get on there, so I'm going to get ahead of it. I'm going to put him on there. Jimmy Butler, which is – can't believe I have him that low, but he's on my squad, and then Gobert.
Okay. You want me to go second?
Sure.
So I don't have a wizard, as much as that pains me, and I know I would love Russ to get on there. I have Trey. I think he's been really, really good, especially they're the 5th seed. Then I have CP3. Like I had previously said, let me get the rest of the list. I have Tatum. I know you had him on first team, but Tatum deserves to be on an All-NBA team. I also have LeBron. He was a top MVP candidate before Solomon Hill decided to steamroll into his ankle, and then Rudy Gobert to finish it off.
Oh, you do have Rudy Gobert.
I do. I slander him a lot, but he's gonna win DPOY. He's gonna have an All NBA selection, adding to that Hall of Fame resume as Josh so desperately wants to see.
Shut up. Literally. All right, so I did have Trae Young initially. I did talk with Lehman before this just to make sure I wasn't too far-fetched with my list. I did have Trae Young. I did have a wizard. I went the Bradley Beal route, second in scoring this year. I think he's been a little bit more consistent than Russ. Russ probably had the better end stretch, but Beal's kind of been like their guy for most of the year. I went James Harden. And this is because everybody's talking about Kyrie's 50, 40, 90. Who were they winning games with? Mr. James Harden. Barely 500. Harden shows up second in East. Like, come on. But
he barely showed up.
He's got the stats.
He's playing a lot more games.
He's got a double. Hold on. Let me look up how many games Kyrie Irving played.
You don't want to do the Harden versus Kyrie games played.
Because I know Kyrie played a good amount of games, but will you look up? I know Harden played around 50. So Kyrie played 54.
Harden played 46.
Really? I think it was a bit. I thought it was a bit more than that. But regardless,
46, 47. So it was around the bronze.
44. So Kyrie played 10 more games. I just think that what's it called? James Harden was kind of like the reason they were winning games. He averaged a double-double. Points went down a lot, but I think he did a lot more for the team than that. And obviously,
I just want to say that's only 36 with the Nets. He played 8 with Houston.
I know, and you know what? I had Trae Young initially because of that point, but you guys kept talking about Kyrie, so I had to throw Harden in there.
Did you just change it? Did you just change it within the last 10 minutes?
And within the last 10 minutes, you guys just kept talking about Kyrie, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go.
I made you change it.
I'm gonna joker.
No, okay, but anyways. Long story short, James Harden was kind of like the big guy, the big reason they were winning games.
He saved their season, if we're being real.
Yeah, so I think he deserves a nod.
He saved Karis LeVert.
That too.
Yeah, all NBA third team. Jason Tatum. I have Julius Randle. I don't have LeBron making it, even though I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised either way.
And because I have 2 centers in the All-NBA first team, I get to throw Bam Adebayo in there because he deserves it, and he's not going to get. He's not going to get it over.
Fourth team.
No Clint Capella love, Josh.
Clint Capella actually was talking about was on my defensive second team, but I threw Bam in there instead.
Lots of Bam love.
But
I don't mind.
I'm big fan of Bam. I don't care about Jonas Valanciunas double-double stats. Bam's been the more impactful player for the Miami Heat.
You don't care about 20 and 20?
He rolls out of bed and drops 20 and 15
he's just Andre Drummond on a slightly more loaded team.
Don't say that.
Don't ever say that. When's the last time you seen Andre Drummond get dumped to on the block and shimmy on Kevon Looney?
I'm just saying they barely made the playoffs.
If Andre Drummond played how Jonas played, we would have won that game against the Warriors by like 30.
But beside the fact you can argue about Jonas Valanciunas.
I have a snub list. I have a snub lineup.
Oh, thanks for telling me that.
Well, you already knew because I'm not a sicko like Jay Skeets and making 10 All-NBA teams, but I made a 4th team.
Okay, let's hear it.
And this is where that's where I put Harden, just because he was in the MVP conversation for about 3 days, I think.
He was like top 3 MVP for a good amount.
Yeah. For like a weekend, he was I think he was in 3 morning newspapers, and then he got hurt, and he kind of fell off. But Harden's there because he's still a top 7 player in the league. Beal, because that's the other guy for the Wizards, second in scoring. PG. He was the more consistent player for the Clippers. I was very surprised when I found out he only played 2 more games than Kawhi. That's why, and Kawhi's obviously better. So Kawhi made my list and PG didn't. Sabonis, still after all his injuries, 20 points, 12 rebounds, 7 assists. That's insane. And then Valanciunas. I know Josh was attacking Valanciunas because I was going to defend him, but Valanciunas.
I want to come up with a point here. Nobody not even on your snub team. No Spida. Was it because the month missed with the ankle injury?
Yeah, I mean, we all fall victim of recency bias, and then Spida was having a decent year. But, I mean, missing those games too.
It was like the Jazz are the first, not Donovan.
I'm interested that none of you put Booker. I thought we would have had some Booker love on here. Because, I mean, it was always like, do it, close. It was, he doesn't impact winning, just.
I'm still upset that Booker made the All-Star team over DeRozan. I'll never give Booker any flowers.
Outplayed by I guess if I had to throw a snub team together just super quickly, it would probably be Kyrie, Trae Young, Paul George, Sabonis, and then I'd probably throw Valanciunas.
I don't have the mental capacity, but all your lists are fine.
Thanks for the validation.
And what are you storing on that forehead, George, if it ain't knowledge?
Physiology.
Sleep deprivation.
Nice. Well, let's get to the other fun part of the show. Yeah, we're not going to have time for a halftime because George has to get to bed. But playoff preview. All right. Josh, you want to start East or West?
Let's start with the East because I feel like that's a bit easier.
Let's go with the East, yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. I'm gonna just go back and forth so you guys can say your opinions first. Josh, give me the Philly series. Philly versus the Wizards.
Sixers 5. Russ gets him 1.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think I would agree there too. George, what's your prediction for Knicks Hawks?
Knicks in 6. I'm trusting the Tom Thibodeau defense.
Joshua.
Knicks in 7. Clint Capella is going to be a bit more of a threat to Derrick Rose's offense than we think.
Are you kind of like me because I have Knicks in 7 too? Does that mean it could go either way? Is that what a 7-game series means? I'm predicting it.
Because my issue is if the Knicks split the series with Atlanta at New York, which I'm predicting, Atlanta could win game 3 and 4 very easily, and then the Knicks are in trouble. Yeah,
I think the Knicks I don't know. I feel like MSG sold out. I feel like it'd be hard for them to lose.
Trae Young's playing out of his mind.
Spike Lee's there. He's going to be wearing a cool hat, probably. It's going to be really fun.
RJ Barrett's going to have to play a hard 46 minutes on Trae Young every night. That's going to be rough.
If Hawks got home court, it'd be a different series. I think Hawks are favored in betting for the series. So if you want to make some money,
keep sleeping on the Knicks. They're going to win the series.
I just can't wait to watch Trae and Julius's both their playoff debuts. Correct?
Yes.
Julius never made it with Pelicans.
Their debuts.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, yeah. Julius never made it anywhere. No.
The whole starting lineup for the Knicks debut, I think.
It's a lot of fresh blood in the East. I know.
That series.
I think it's D Rose and Noel, and everyone else. Taj Gibson too, but I mean
Reggie Bullock. No, I don't think so.
No Marshall for those. Josh, anyways. Give me the. Actually, I'll start with you. I'll give you Bucks Heat. Give me a prediction.
Well, I did say if the Bucks played the Heat, they would lose.
Don't switch up.
This is the only matchup that I think the Miami Heat would win in the first round. And I'm going to take them. I'm going to take them 6.
I've been saying
not even a 7-game pick 'em.
While Giannis is playing out of his mind, I don't think if it goes to 7, I don't think Miami pulls it off away. I think they come out strong. They steal a game. They don't lose any of the games at Miami. I think they steal one of the first 2 games. They just have this swagger, and I know they're kind of ramping up a little bit. This is the same thing they did last year. They're ramping up at the right time. They're getting the offense working, and every year, Giannis is different. Oh, here's this, here's that.
Drew Holiday.
They got Drew Holiday. They did this. So what's next? Chris Middleton's gonna have a good game 1, and the Bucks are set to go. I mean, like everybody's expecting the Heat to be competitive in the series. I know the Bucks are because they lost to them, but I don't know. It's really hard to go against Jimmy, and it's really hard to go for Giannis considering the recent events. So I'm gonna take the Heat. Wouldn't be surprised if Milwaukee takes it.
I have Bucks in 6. Even if it goes to 7, I think Milwaukee still wins. It's definitely going to go past 5. So,
no, see, that's where you're wrong. If you have Bucks, it's got to be in 5 because if it gets deeper and deeper, I disagree with Josh. The deeper it goes, the more coaching comes into play, and Bud is getting run circles around. If it gets if it's 2-2, chalk it up. Spoelstra's taking it.
But Lehman, listen. Game 7 in Milwaukee. Miami's a dangerous away team. However, there are 15,000 Georges screaming at Giannis in a game 7. He might take that game.
And you know what? 15,000 Georgia screaming at Jimmy Butler. Jimmy's going to thrive.
Okay.
He's going to thrive.
Jimmy dropped a 40-point triple-double back against the wall against LeBron freaking
He also
James.
dropped 60 steroids into his mouth like a gobble gum from Black Ops 3. Do you see that picture I linked of him?
Yeah.
I have Bucks in 5 because
Okay.
if I have Bucks, it has to be quick. It has to.
Okay.
It just doesn't mean they came out and they're actually different. If they're actually different, they're not going to be lollygagging around because they're lollygagging around. Oh, guess what? Tyler Hero, Jack Harlow, Green. He's going to be sitting courtside, and you can't mess around. You can't play with your food if you're the Bucks. You got to dispatch the Heat quick. The Nets.
Alrighty.
All right, George, take the Nets series. Nets Celtics. Kyrie versus the Boston Celtics.
Part of me thinks it's a sweep,
Fake beef.
but I can't do that to Tatum. I could honestly see it being a sweep. I'm just gonna go 5 out of respect for Tatum because he's gonna have like a 55 ball.
And no respect for me. I got it in a sweep. Josh.
Okay.
I have Brooklyn in 6 because I think Boston's going to have one good Tatum game, and Brooklyn's also going to have the
A lousy
LeBron
victory
James
game.
steal out game.
Okay.
So
So you think Celtics win one and Nets lose one, and it ends up going. Don't phrase that to Russell Westbrook. He won't let me stand him anymore.
Less time.
Okay, so just to recap. No, we don't need to recap. Going to the West. So I'll start with this one. We'll start the 1-8 matchup. Did I freeze?
No. I'm just.
Your
This
eyes
is
were
a tough-
freaking out. You're
this
giving
is
me
a tough one, man.
You were giving me.
Anyways,
Oh my gosh, I forgot.
Al Horford.
Eyes. Oh, Al Horford has pretty eyes. Okay, so Utah series. So I'm gonna ask for Grizzlies first because I believe
Bobby Porter's crazy eyes.
Bobby
There you
Porter's
go. There you
Bobby
go.
Porter's eyes. Yeah. Okay, so George, give me Utah Grizzlies.
Sweep.
Josh,
If it's Grizzlies,
if it's Grizzlies, we'll start with the boring one first.
5. I give Jonas.
I have 5 too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get
I
it.
think the defense shows up, and I think they catch Donnie Mitchell and Mike Conley off guard in game 1 or 2. I think they split on the road.
No, I think they win one in Memphis, and
That's fine.
Jordan
Quick
Clarkson goes
grind
1
arena.
of 19.
With 15,000 JJ Butters in the stand.
Oh, 1,000. They might get
Yes,
2 at that
sir.
rate.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, okay. If it's the Warriors, what happens? What happens, Josh, if it's Utah Jazz versus the Warriors?
Jazz in 7, man. That's so close. That's so close. I'm so close to picking
Against
a
Steph
winner.
and against. Okay.
Never-
I'm
never
George,
doubt
like,
the
George
Warriors,
got
man.
Steph. George has Steph. Say it, George. Say it.
No, okay.
You had
It's
Steph
so
3 hours
close.
ago.
It's
You had
so
Steph 3 hours ago.
It's close. It's close because it solely relies on how healthy Donovan Mitchell is. If he's like not even close to himself, I have Warriors in 7. But like if he comes out and is like bubble Donnie, then they're gonna win in like 6 games. But I have no idea. It's such a toss up.
If he's bubble Donnie, they win in 6 games. How the hell would they pull it off if he's not? The Warriors get 2 if Donnie Mitchell scores again.
Okay, well, Lehman froze a
We'll
little
move
bit, so
on.
I'll explain why I think it's close. I think the one, because Steph Curry has to be played by Mike Conley or Donovan Mitchell for most of the game, which is going to be rough. However, the 2 big factors is how the Jazz guard the pick and pop and how they handle Andrew Wiggins, because they don't have wing defenders. I like Rose O'Neal. Andrew Wiggins is like 3 inches taller than him. He's shooting over him every time. He put like LeBron James in a body bag in the play.
He only plays good against
I was
LeBron.
concerned. So I mean, it's close.
If the
but
Warriors
I
were
have
at
to pick the
Oracle,
Jazz.
If the Warriors were at Oracle, I'd have them in 7, but I got Utah in 6.
Okay.
It really does. It's on Donovan Mitchell's health though, because it's going to be his first game
Like I
back in
said.
like a month and a half. Him and Mitch, him and Mike. It's not. Yeah.
I mean, he practiced today.
Not
He said
too
he
confident
was
now.
sore. Anyways, yeah.
Clippers and the Mavericks. Who wants to get us started with that one?
I think it's the same as last year, 6 games.
I agree. Uh-oh.
He's picking
Ladies
Luca.
and gentlemen.
He's picking
Ladies
Luca.
and gentlemen.
Jake is gonna be so mad at you. So mad at you.
The Luca Magic will only take it to 7. I
Oh,
can't.
okay. Never mind.
The Clips will win. They'll have some pretty rough edges, but the Porzingis thing, man, like he's just regressed. And
Glass.
as much as I love Luca, he just doesn't have enough offensive firepower to.
Porzingis
keep up
is
way
the
he
guy
did
from the
last year.
SpongeBob episode where he's like, I was made out of glass bones and paper skin.
if it goes to 7, I'm breaking open the piggy bank and marching on the Staples, and I'm gonna be cheer. That I think it goes 6.
If it goes to 7, I'm calling out of work, and you're coming over here, and we are yelling. At
Jake and
Luka
the
to win
Funky
the
Bunch
game.
go to Staples.
Jake won't take us
Mickey
home
Mouse
if they
fans.
lose, man. We're gonna have to Uber home if the Clippers lose Game 7.
I don't want to see Steve Ballmer sad. I didn't get to see it last year because he wasn't.
He
they didn't
was,
show him
but they
too
just
much.
didn't show him.
Yeah, I don't want to see Steve Ballmer sad and they go in the first round. But I have Clippers in 6. I just don't think the Mavs have enough. But if they keep it close, Clippers are horrible in the clutch offensively.
And Luka
Bottom
has their number. So
yeah, so we'll see. We'll go Denver Blazers next. I'll start with Josh.
this is so intriguing, man.
This one also could go 7. I'm kind of negating back on my point of like I think our hot take that there'll be more lower seed upsets in the first round than higher seed wins. You know what? I'm gonna do it. Blazers in 7. I'm gonna do it. I love Jokic, but I just don't think that they're gonna be able to keep up with Portland. I think Portland gets really hot. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be a repeat Game 7. CJ McCollum has everybody's number.
You're literally
in Game 7.
taking words from my mouth. That's exactly my prediction. I think it's going to be just like the 2019 series. I know Jokic is the MVP and is completely evolved. The thing is, there's no Murray. And
Michael Porter Jr. Who's guarding Michael Porter Jr.? That's why it goes to 7. That's why it goes to 7,
honestly,
man. That's the reason,
man,
right?
like when I look at it, just the sheer offensive firepower Portland has in the backcourt. Who's Compazzo guarding? CJ? Dame?
Will Barton's a big X factor here. This series could easily go 4 or 5 if Will Barton's able to shut down Dame.
Let's hear it, Lehman. You look pretty annoyed.
It's Denver in 7. It's a pick'em. It is, but what Dame are we getting? We've only seen Dame really show out in the playoffs twice. And that was in the Rockets series. I believe that was
Pandemic P.
McCollum.
Pandemic P.
and then in 19 when they made the conference finals.
Both in the first round, though. He didn't even play good in the second round. He just played good in the first round. That's all we need.
What happened in the first round 15, 16, 17, 18? We're not guaranteed to get Dame time. And Mike Malone's a good coach. I agree they don't have a lot of bodies to throw at him, especially if Will Barton's not healthy. But they have not shown to have an answer for Jokic. None of the league has, besides maybe the LA. But yeah, it is 5 a.m., George. Yeah, maybe that's why you picked the Blazers instead of the Nuggets. But I'm going to hold you to it. But, I mean, I just have Denver. I got a feeling about it. They have home court. It's hard to play in Denver. It's a pick 'em, though. If we want to get more in-depth, we could. But have to do more research, and we would have to do it at an earlier time. So let's move on to the last series here. What's Lakers Suns looking like?
Lakers in 5.
Josh, what's Lakers Suns looking like?
Lakers in 7.
I have Lakers in 6.
I was thinking that, but I'm also afraid that the Suns are going to go up 2-0, and then it's going to be an uphill.
Wow.
From there.
Are we getting a LeBron feel-out game?
Yes, absolutely.
It might not even be. It might not even be like
feel-out 3 feel-out games against.
I don't know
Chris
how.
Paul.
It might just be like trying to ramp up because he's not the healthiest right now. I'm not going to speculate because every other day it's I'm not 100%. Oh, I'm about to be 100%. Oh, I'm playing on one leg. Like,
I can't wait.
Please be good.
My favorite thing about this is the fact that two things. One, Joey wins no matter who wins this series.
Well, Joey always wins.
And second, I can't wait for George to go, I can't believe Drummond's in because Ayton's in. Put AD at the 5. And then we start getting out rebounded and George goes, AD is soft. Hey, Disney, we need a center.
Call AD
He's
soft.
going to break. He's literally going to cut break in half. I think I have 800 quotes in my phone of you calling Anthony
We should
Davis
take
soft.
George off the pod until Lakers are eliminated.
I think we shouldn't let George talk about playoff Lakers until we make it to like the finals.
Oh, then he's gonna be second meme reference. That guy, he's freaking out. He's got the veins popping out when he haven't talked about the Lakers in 5 minutes. That's how George is gonna be. He's gonna be freaking out. Yeah. So how confident are you that Suns go up 2-0, Josh?
It's like a 70-30. Like it's really hard because the field game is going to happen. And it's Chris Paul. There's no way they're probably going to go up 2-0. And that's rough. That's
Chris
rough.
Paul.
George,
And the Suns have an open arena.
As someone who finally watched an NBA game in full length with Lakers Warriors, do you think there's any film there for Chris Paul to watch and learn anything from as, point guard? Or is it kind of just a throwaway game? Because there's a lot of things you can do. I mean,
I guess
Lakers are very sloppy as far as turnovers and all that.
They're not going to guard Phoenix the same way that they guarded the Warriors, though. So,
I mean, defend the Lakers because they had a lot of turnovers. They've been very sloppy lately.
They can look up all the film they want. Do they have a guy to guard AD? No. Who are they going to throw? Frank Kaminsky?
They might just have AD guard himself. If doesn't have that mid-range goal, they could clog the paint because if we're playing Drummond there,
I guess the best thing to do if Drummond is in is probably send double teams. AD's not the best at trying to read out double teams. So I think you got to trap him and just make life tougher on him. And with LeBron, probably have to stick McHale on him and just get up in his jersey, annoy the shit out of him. I mean, that's what you got to do.
You heard it here first. George Martin thinks that A. Disney has the read level of a third grader as far as on the court. Anything else to add here? Josh, yes.
I'm just curious. Is there a good chance that the Suns beat the Lakers? Because I'm really thinking about it, and I think that there is a good chance.
They're not favorites, so you know what? If you want to take that money to the bank, you might be a rich man if the Suns win.
I'm not going to take it to the bank because I'm confident in the Lakers, but I'm just saying that we shouldn't not.
So why is it a question? If you're confident, why are you asking the question?
Because there's still a relatively good chance that if the Lakers don't, this isn't like one of those if the Lakers don't show up, they can. This isn't like a series where if the Lakers don't show up, they're still going to win just because of how talented they are. Like the Suns easily could win this series.
Well, I disagree. Sometimes, as far as talent goes, like you can have all these they matched up like this, you do this, the coaching about this, that. Sometimes you got to look. Lakers have the two best players on the court, and I think Suns have a lot more of the middle guys. As far as you rank like the top 15 players in the series, top 10, they have a lot more of the middle guys. But you get to 8, 9, 10 again, it goes back to the Lakers. So I think they have depth and star power. Suns are no schmucks. They're not a Mickey Mouse 2 seed. This team is very, very good. And Monty Williams is a very, very good coach. But a lot of inexperience there. And you're playing LeBron James. The
inexperience. I also get Josh's concern. I would say one thing to bank on is that the most consistent thing about this Lakers team, especially their defense, their guard defense, they're going to make life tough on CP and Book, and I'm not saying they're going to completely shut them down, but if you make it hard enough on them, I don't even think the Lakers have to be at their best to win the series. So that's why I have confidence there.
I'm getting 2013 flashbacks where everybody was saying the Lakers would beat the Spurs, and then the Spurs swept.
With Kobe tore his Achilles.
Yeah, this is. It's a completely different scenario, but it's just funny to think about.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, in that scenario, we were playing Stephen Blake point guard because Steve Nash was hurt.
I know we're about to wrap it up, but just real quickly, no real reasoning. For Grizzlies Warriors, George, who do you have?
Warriors.
Okay,
and you guys both stick with the Warriors. I have Grizzlies. Yeah.
I'm gonna take Steph.
You're gonna take Steph. I think it's up in the air. It's going to be a Warriors blowout or a close Grizzlies game. You can hold me to that. I'll take that to the bank. But if I got to choose, I'm taking the Grizzlies. Well, the shot clock has expired. George is looking at me like he's ready to hit the hay. He took Moderna. He took it head on.
No, I didn't.
He took Pfizer.
He took Pfizer. Pfizer didn't have anything on him. He's awake. It's 5 a.m.
We'll see when I wake up.
Thanks for joining us, guys. It was probably one of our more important episodes, so I'm glad we could have a full squad here. Appreciate you, Josh. Appreciate you, George. Thanks for watching or listening. If you're watching, subscribe. If you're listening, Spotify, give us a follow. Instagram and Twitter at THHoopers. You know the whole drill. George never caught lack without his phone, although don't tweet before probably 5 p.m. tomorrow Pacific time because he will not be awake. All right.
7 p.m.
Shout out to all the OGs, Danny Stipp, Josh Nowakowski, Cole Wakeham, all those guys. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for being an OG. Take care, guys.